Hi everyone, welcome to the video for Workshop 5. We're looking at chapters 21 and 22 this time. Let's go ahead and look at chapter 21. We're talking about budgeting. Now, whenever we do a budget, oftentimes, almost all the time, we're going to have a variance. What is a variance? Pretty self-explanatory. You've probably heard of variances before. A variance is any difference between the actual result and the standard or budgeted result that we had estimated going forward. So, if it is a variance in our favor in the way that we determine that as if revenue is greater than expected or expenses are lower than expected. And said another way, whatever makes net income higher, if the variance is in our favor, we call that a favorable variance. If it's unfavorable, that would be a situation where net income is lower than what we expected. So either revenue is lower than what was budgeted or expenses were greater than what was budgeted. Usually you'll see that on the financial statements on your when you compare your actual to budget, you'll see the unfavorable variances either in brackets or you'll see something with an F showing that it's favorable or a U showing that it's unfavorable. So keep that in mind as we look at the examples in chapter 21. Chapter talks about a static or fixed budget versus a flexible budget. The flexible budget is ideal because what it is it looks at the variances in production. Remember, a lot of our costs are variable costs, which you're going to change in production. So it prepares a budget that is adjustable for changes in production. If we're going to produce 100 units, it's going to be able to show one amount. If we produce 120 units, the budget is going to be increased for certain expenses to show that amount. So you would do this in Excel or some program that allowed you to actually compare the actual quantity produced with the budget for that particular quantity. So an example of that is on page 869. Check that out. Also, a thing that isn't in the chapter, but you might be interested in is zero-based budgeting. A lot of companies are using this method going forward compared to what has traditionally been done. A lot of times when you have a very simple budgeting process, you just take your budget from the prior year. You say, here's the 2010 budget, and now we're going to roll it forward to 2011, and what we would do is just add 3% to the majority of our expenses to give raises to employees to adjust for inflation, those type of things. We would just build in based on what we had done previously. Zero-based budgeting takes a different approach. All the expenses it requires justification for. So it's saying nothing is guaranteed, nothing is taken for granted, but you have to explain to us why you need this money or why you need this expense. Once you do that, once we have justification, we'll build it in. So this is a little bit more accurate and more skeptical version of budgeting that a lot of companies are going to now in a poor economy to save money.